It's 1806 and a lot is happening. Napoleon has just swept through Europe, and everybody that opposed him was totally and utterly humiliated in their recent defeat. Emperor Francis II is the last Holy Roman Emperor, and is forced to dissolve his massive kingdom, leaving many sects of Central Europe ungoverned and chaotic. But one will rise above the rest, and will essentially be the pain in Europe's ass for the next 150 or so years. In the wake of recent conflicts in a constantly warring Europe, a new nation emerges determined to set itself up upon the world stage as the dominant power of Central Europe. Prussia was just one of the many states that came out of the Holy Roman Empire, each eager to annex one another and solidify their sovereignty. After being devastated by their losses in the Napoleonic Wars, Prussia sat relatively dormant before joining in against Napoleon for the final time in 1815. Afterwards they expanded, gaining much of its wanted territory previously kept from them by Napoleon. By this point Prussia was pretty big, giving Austria a run for its money in terms of population and land area. After its dissolution, the many states of the previously existing Holy Roman Empire came together to form the Confederation of the Rhine, an entity comprised of many states, but with the exclusion of Prussia and Austria, and its existence was so complicated that I could never do it justice in this video, and it dissolved by 1813. By the late 1810s, Prussia was no longer very big, but it did gain an enclave called the Rhineland, and the German Confederation was formed, a big scary entity comprised of many states, but did include parts of Prussia and Austria. It was also definitely not a big copy of the Holy Roman Empire, and totally not greatly influenced by Francis II. Prussia gained more land, and eventually people got kind of sick of the Confederation, and had a bunch of wars in the mid-1800s, most notably the Prusso-Danish War and the Austro-Prussian War. Eventually Prussia had a new government, with this guy as its military and diplomatic leader. He pumped up the Prussian military, and eventually Prussia found itself at war with pretty much everybody else for a very long time. Eventually Prussia became part of the North German Confederation, and this is where our story begins. France is also in a tough spot, with their losses towards the end of the Napoleonic Wars humiliating them in front of the entire world. Economically speaking, it was also not looking so great, although there was a mild improvement upon the coming of the Second Republic. Although not necessarily under the threat of dissolution, the French nation was filled with revolutions and unstable governments throughout the mid-19th century. Then in 1852, Napoleon's nephew, the creatively named Napoleon II, became the president of France, although in all honesty was something more akin to his uncle's rule. He created the Second French Empire and immediately started expanding, bringing many victories to France's name, some of the first in a long time. So here we have two very powerful countries, each gaining multiple victories after a crushing defeat and an unstable past. Should I say it? I think I should. Let's have a war.